So the light at the end of the tunnel of this Conservative leadership race is there. It is settling in to what many of us predicted it would be, which is a Truss-Sunak final two. And certainly Rishi Sunak is going to be in the final two. But as we've said for a long time, looking at the polls of the Conservative membership, when it came to the final two, Sunak would lose against every single current one. And he is almost certainly going to lose against Liz Truss, unless something drastic happens during the leadership hustings. Sunak is destined to lose. So, and what obviously this means is what we've been talking about for at least the past couple of live streams when we've covered it. By the way, watch out for my live streams. If you want to watch out for the live streams, remember to hit the bell button. It'll tell you when I go live. We've been talking about in the live streams a lot how Liz Truss is the woman the ERG want at the helm. Why? She's the ERG candidate. Who are the ERG, you may ask? Well, if you've never heard of them, the ERG stands for the European Research Group. And this is the party within the party. But there are now, as we've said before, parties within the party. But the ERG is ultimately the most powerfulest faction in the current Tory party. And they have been the ones who have been pushing the party in an ever more increasingly hard right libertarian direction. And we do not want this to happen at all. Now, trust me, they are destined to lose if they continue to push this in this way. But the problem is, given our voting system, they are sort of locked in a way to win. I mean, Boris Johnson got almost exactly the same amount of vote as Theresa May, and yet Boris Johnson has a massive majority. Go figure. But that's just how bad our sort of voting system is. That's why we talk about on this channel a lot the importance of having PR. But the ERG are going to take control of the Tory party. And this is going to cause a lot of problems. But before we go into the problems that they are going to cause, please do remember to hit that like, share, and subscribe button. And of course, down below, there are links to my Patreon page and a reputation link called Buy Me Coffee, where you can, buy me coffee. And as always, thank you very much to all those people who do help support the channel. There's also the YouTube thank you button. There's also the YouTube subscription button as well, where you can get all sorts of little bells, whistles, badges, and whatnots when you subscribe to the channel to help support the channel that way. So, for those of you who don't know who the ERG and where they got their start from, the ERG originally started, believe it or not, all the way back in the early 90s, created at the time by Daniel Hannan. So the ERG has been around for quite some time. However, it was not until Steve Baker came in as an MP who took control of the ERG then in 2010 and morphed the ERG into the way it has played out today. And there is a fantastic book, very much well worth getting if you want to learn more about the sort of the tactics that Steve Baker used to transform the ERG into such a powerful faction within the Tory party. Because remember, this is a group that not only solicits donations to the ERG, so you are getting a political party within another political party that is taking donations not to the main political party, but to exactly to the ERG, that is being hidden and obfuscated by anonymous private donations is the best way, and of course our very awful current parliamentary system that has helped them to do it. And that's one of the shocking things when you sort of look into this, how Baker did it and got these donations. Everything he's sort of done has been very much within the rules. Yes, they are loopholes within those rules, but he was allowed to do it. That's how he got away with it. And as a result, he became, and the ERG became increasingly powerful. They were the ones who pushed to get Brexit done in the first place. And don't get me wrong, people who think that Brexit solved the problem of the EU in the Conservative Party got it completely wrong. It did not solve any serious problems in the Conservative Party. It is still there. There are those MPs who still want a closer relationship with the EU, even after the referendum. Because remember, the Leave campaign was offering leaving the EU but remaining in the single market customs union. Even Daniel Hannan came out recently and said, oh yeah, leaving the single market customs union was a big mistake. You know, and those people, those Tories who took that position were viewed as heretics. You know, how dare you take this position? How dare you abandon the will of the people? But that's what they did. They kept on pushing. They pushed as hard as they could to trigger Article 50, and they just kept on pushing. And this is what happens when revolutions get taken over by the extremists. And they haven't finished yet, because they still deem that Boris Johnson has not completed their Brexit. You hear them all the time. Oh, Boris isn't fulfilling these Brexit benefits. And I really wish people would hold them to task on what these Brexit benefits are, because they go into this dialogue tree. They go, oh, we could, oh, it's all about sort of, you know, divergence and sort of deregulation. And then that's sort of where the question ends. But they need, journalists in particular, need to really start pushing these Tory people on what they actually mean by the deregulation. What exactly are they going to deregulate? What regulations are they going to get rid of? And we already know what they are. It will be sort of workers' rights, health and safety, environmental protections, or a ton of stuff that we have taken for granted for years. We saw very, very early on, about 2 or 3 years ago now, where they tried to get rid of the Working Time Directive, and there was a massive outcry against getting rid of it. And so they sort of backed down because they didn't want to be forced into another U-turn on going it. But trust me, that is almost certainly on the plate for people like Liz Truss and whoever she appoints to be the new business secretary, which I think ultimately will be a member of the ERG. Because Boris was meant to be their guy. But of course, Boris, very much a political opportunist, told the ERG everything they wanted to hear. So obviously they ended up backing him. But of course, he wasn't competent enough to really follow through with their, you know, ideas. However, Liz Truss is certainly, unfortunately, a lot more competent and a lot more dangerous in many of those regards. And she will follow through. She will be their puppet. And the ERG will be continuing to control at least the Tory party for as long as she is there for some time to come. And this is one of the things I wish Labour would actually start to do. Start calling out the fact that there's this party within the party. Start calling out those dark money donations that the ERG accept. And trust me, it would be a fantastic way for Labour to really get in and start to say, look, this is how we're going to clean up politics. This is how we're going to, you know, get rid of this dark money within politics. You know, you can no longer accept a sort of nameless donation. You have to be able to put a name and a face to the donation. And we're going to cap donations as well at that sort of this amount. So you can only give this amount. There's so much they could really do that would be really popular, especially at the moment. And you hear a lot of talk about restoring trust in politics. That is one of the ways you can help restore trust in politics. So almost certainly the ERG are making a massive power move at the moment. Not that they haven't done already. But if Liz Truss gets in, expect more ERG members to be appointed to key cabinet positions, and expect there to be a even bigger acceleration in certainly the quote Brexit benefits, shall we say, which again aren't going to be beneficial in any way, shape, or form. There's going to be even more acrimony thrown against the EU. The Northern Ireland Protocol is going to get ripped up, which is going to cause even more problems in Northern Ireland. We're going to end up in a trade war with the EU. The EU is going to take us to court. They're already taking us to court over this. So how they intend to do that, well, how the government is prepared to sort of defend themselves against that, we don't know. Needless to say, that court case is going to be hilarious when that happens, because I don't even know how this government is going to seriously defend itself. We already know that they're breaking international law, but that's unfortunately the state we are in. And it is all down to the ERG. And I really, 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 really wish Labour would actually start attacking the ERG as an institution, start pointing out how powerful they are. Because during the Corbyn years, there was a lot of stuff that the Conservatives would throw, not against the Labour Party, but against momentum. And those attacks worked really quite well. So why can't we just reverse some of those arguments back onto the ERG? They would be actually quite effective. So, as always, thank you very much for watching. Please do remember to hit that like, share, and subscribe button. And of course, down below there are links to my Patreon page and a motivation link called Buy Me Coffee, where you can buy me coffee. And as always, thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you all next time.